Hey, Lighthouse, welcome to Lighthouse Stories TV. This is the very first video podcast that we have ever done in the history of the world. Actually, just the history of our church. So Lighthouse Stories podcast we had last year, people liked it. We enjoyed getting to know each other in that way. And now that we're having kind of a video component to church, we are going to do some video podcasts. And so the first guest is Ashely Wilson. Hello, Ashely.
Hey guys.
And Ashely, you connect to this in a couple ways. First of all, your family around here at Lighthouse. In fact, you just joined in membership a couple of weeks ago. And then the coronavirus hit. So I'm not saying that that's what caused it, but we're saying that maybe. And but then also, you are helping us get back going with podcasting. So you do a lot of podcasts, you do a lot of video stuff. And so you're going to be behind the scenes helping us get our podcast back up and going. And you actually are more native with video stuff even than you are with audio stuff. So this is a home game for you.
Oh yes.
So perfect. So first of all, thank you for if people don't know, like we haven't produced any podcasts in the last 6 weeks, but you and I have been in constant contact trying to figure out how to do it right. And so lots of work behind the scenes, and we'll figure it out soon. So thank you for all that. But why don't you just give us the old like Facebook profile version of you. Tell us about yourself.
All right. So my name is Ashely Wilson. I am a college student. I'll be going to CSUMB to study film production. And I like to surf. I love being out in the outdoors, adventuring. I love to travel. I also have a YouTube channel where I talk about lifestyle, faith, and having cystic fibrosis and just how it's kind of like my life. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic lung condition. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I also volunteer at the aquarium. I love the aquarium.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Nice. What do you do there?
I am one of the volunteers that works with all the guests. So I can show people.
You tell people where the bathroom is a lot.
Oh my gosh, that's the number one question. That's the number one question at the aquarium.
Surrounded by water. You need to go to the bathroom. What are you going to do?
But I love it. It's fun.
Do you know what all the fish are? If people are like, so what kind of fish is this? Do you just make it up?
I know about 50% of the fish. Yeah.
Hey, that is pretty good. I know the sunfish, which is hilarious. God made half a fish and then was just like, there's a sunfish.
It's just a fun looking fish.
It's a fun fish. And they get really big, right? Like a sunfish out in the wild are huge.
They're huge.
So you mentioned you have cystic fibrosis, and I've heard you say before that part of your understanding of cystic fibrosis is that it doesn't define you. And I love that. Like, what a wonderful understanding of really any character trait that we have or any kind of burden that we were born with to say, yeah, I'm more than this, but it does take up a lot of your life. And it's really one of the ways that you and I kind of connected early on, because my best friend growing up, in fact, I brought a picture. Here we are. This is Chad. He had cystic fibrosis. I just want everybody to marvel at the mullet. Look at this. That is solid. Just for the record, I was growing it all out. Just it happens in stages. And so the mullet is stage 1. But, and also this is May in Garden Grove. It's probably 100 degrees. Why I'm wearing a turtleneck, I have no idea. But this was my best friend, Chad, and he had cystic fibrosis. And so I remember what it was like just kind of being at Chad's house and what it's like being a kid with cystic fibrosis. You were telling me that this isn't something very much anymore, but we used to beat on Chad. Like we'd take turns, like right side, left side, right side low, left side low. You had a vest for that.
Yes, I have a vest. There's been different models, but I have a vest where like it connects to a machine and then it shakes you, because with CF, your body produces an overload of mucus that like clogs the different pathways of the organs, so they don't work as properly, especially with the lungs. So you'd wear this machine and then it would shake you, and then you inhale different medications to help loosen up that mucus, and you can just cough it up. But, yeah.
I just have this picture of little cute Ashely at like 7 years old or whatever, just wearing a, just, just being shaken.
I would read my books and watch TV while I do
Uh-huh.
it. And then when we have friends over for a sleepover, they would try it on and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so fun!" And I'm like,
That's a lot
"Yeah."
of fun. Yeah, it's great. Doing it twice a day. Um, and so you grew up in a Christian home,
Hmm.
mom and dad, solid.
Yeah.
And so how early on did you know that cystic fibrosis was not something that everybody else had?
Um, I mean, I knew like from a young age that like I had something that was different,
Hmm.
but I feel like I didn't fully grasp it until I was about 12. And that's when I was at a benefit for a CF organization called the Living Breath Foundation.
Hmm.
And it was one of their fundraisers, and they're doing a talk about CF and also how it's life threatening. And that's when I found out that you could die from this. And
So you're
so I asked,
just sitting there in the
oh, yeah.
audience,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay, I know it has something to do with breathing, and I know that I have to wear the shaky vest and my friends
Hmm.
don't or whatever. But you're sitting as a 12-year-old and hearing somebody say, this is can be a life-ending thing.
Yeah. And I asked my mom about that, and I was just like, "You can die from this?" And she goes, "You can." And she goes, "But," and she used the Columbine high school shooting as an example, just like, we
Mm,
don't know when our last day is. And she goes,
mm,
"But, we have Christ and we can be solid in that." And I was just like,
mm.
"Oh, okay." Like,
Great.
big whoop.
Yeah, you're 12. That's one of the things about a 12-year-old too, is like, uh, one of the things I love about middle schoolers in general is like, you don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in there that sometimes they don't have the ability to articulate, but you're like actually wrestling with life and God and how these things fit together as a 12-year-old
Hmm.
in a way that, yeah, not, you know, not everybody is. So
Yeah.
how did you put all that together? So initially you just say, oh, okay, well, that's right. And what great
Yeah.
wisdom for your mom too, to say, look, none of us are promised tomorrow. What are you going to do? Live,
Yeah.
let it define you and say, oh, I have this disease? Or are you going to go, look, I'm going to live the
Yeah.
best life I possibly can and let God worry about when it's over?
I mean, I did talk to my godmother during that time of like my thoughts about it. And I talked to my mom about it, but the whole time growing up, my parents taught me to not let CF define me, and
Yeah.
I just thought this is just one of those things. Because I tell some of my friends this sometimes when they like start to freak out about stuff like that, and I'm like, technically we're all dying,
Yeah,
like,
that's
think
right.
about
None of us get
it.
out alive. That's
So
right.
I'm just like, I don't know whether it's gonna be CF that takes my life or like a car, like whatever. But I'm like,
Yeah.
can't focus on that. Like you just have to like live life to the fullest that you can. I mean, that sounds cliche, but like really, it's kind of like what you have to do.
Yeah, and I think especially if you really do have a Christian understanding of eternal life,
Hmm.
like we're talking about is our temporal, for now, this 100 years or so you get, like, so some people get 100, some people get 80, some people get 40. Like, eternal life is eternal, and there's a
Yeah.
lot to look forward to. There's a lot of joy there. Um, so I want to talk to you a little bit about this new medicine you're on, because
Yes.
when I was a sophomore in high school, they isolated the gene for cystic fibrosis. I was in a biology class, and I remember the teacher saying that, and just like, it just flipped me out. Like,
Hmm.
for me and Chad, that was the coolest, like, the Dodgers winning the World Series in 1988 and finding out that they had isolated the gene for cystic fibrosis were the two
Hmm.
highlights of our lives. And so treatments really changed right away, but were kind of clunky. Like, you don't, once you isolate the gene, you don't figure out exactly what the perfect treatment is.
Right.
But gene therapy started, and really everybody's lives extended incredibly in the 90s.
Hmm.
And so there's been even more advancement, and now you're participating in this. You're taking this thing. What's it called?
Yes, it's called Trikafta. It's a
Yeah.
new CF. It's called a CF modulator, but it's this new medication that kind of corrects the new cells that are being made that have CF in them, and kind of makes the intensity of CF a little bit less. It can't change the damage that's already been done.
Yeah.
But it can correct like what can happen. There's been past modulators, like 2 or 3 different kinds, but I've never qualified for them because they were for those who have the classic CF gene, which is delta F508, where I have delta F508, but another rare gene. And so that always made it hard. So this medication, it can affect 90% of the CF community. So there's still 10% who don't have anything, but they're putting their full research into that 10% now. But this drug is affecting 90%. So it's been pretty life-changing. I can breathe in deeper. I don't cough anymore, which is pretty crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, a CF patient without coughing, I can't even get my head around. Like that's crazy good news.
It's crazy. But
so is this like for future generations? If you have a baby today and they say, hey, your child has cystic fibrosis, is this something where their lungs are never going to be that damaged?
Yeah, it'd probably be like still tiny bit damaged since that's how CF works.
Yeah.
But they said this is probably the closest that they're going to come to a cure, like in my lifetime, probably. And
wow.
It's definitely proved that, where it's definitely like been pretty life-changing of just like fixing like my lung function, just causing it to go higher. And it's been pretty amazing.
Even that, like to say my lung function went higher, like CF has always been like, well, how do we make it where it goes down at the slowest rate? But to have that curve go in this direction and actually be increasing in lung function is just crazy fun to hear.
Yeah. Because cystic fibrosis. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, because cystic fibrosis, it is progressive. So it does worsen as you get older. So then your lungs do decline over the years. And like the past year and a half, my lung function was declining. I mean, part of that was me living in La Mirada near LA for a while. But just recovering from that was just like really damaging to my lungs. And so over that time, like my coughs were like the worst it'd ever been. Like me being able to breathe was like the worst it'd ever been. So just like I was like that, like right before I started Trikafta, and then just started noticing differences of like I can breathe in deep again. And yeah. So
what other kind of stuff were you able to do that was slipping away? Like I know like surfing is a thing. And
one thing that not many people know is I grew up doing musical theater. Like I've done it since I was little, and it's been a huge passion of mine. But the last show I was in was 4 years ago. And also because like I needed a break, but also because my doctor's like, you kind of burning the candle here, like you need like slow down for a little bit. And after 2 years passed, I realized like my health is changing. And I called my mom. I'm like, I feel like for my health, and I feel like right now, God's telling me to close the doors in theater for a while, which is like, for me, is like the most heartbreaking thing to ever say. And so I'm like, I just feel like God's telling me you need to stop this for a little bit. And so I stopped. I didn't really do performances anymore. And I stopped doing auditions, and I even stopped singing for a little bit, like around the house. Like it would send me into coughing spasms. But just a few months ago, like I started noticing I can breathe in deep. And so then I started singing, and like I had the breath support for it. So then I just started practicing more with that. And I met with like my old vocal coach, and he was impressed with like how much more control I have with my voice again. And then I started auditioning again, which was it was scary at first, because I'm like, Lord, do you want me to start doing this again? Because like I'm ready to open back those doors and just start doing my thing again. And it's been pretty exciting to step back into my old passion, because I had to close the door on that because of CF. So
that's awesome. So you're surfing, you're singing, you're hiking.
Yeah.
Like these
3 hour hikes with Emily.
3 hour hikes with Emily. That sounds good. Yeah, if you let her, she'll take you far. Well, that is so cool. So tell me about this movie project on your YouTube
Yeah.
channel. The YouTube channel, I don't know if we said this, is called Ashely's Roses.
Yes. It's
We'll put
called,
a link below.
a lot of people don't know this, but it's called Ashely's Roses because obviously my name, but also little kids can't say cystic fibrosis, so they say
Ah,
65 roses. So I was just like,
ah,
Ashely, 65 roses,
there it
Ashely's
is.
Roses.
Cool.
So, but I started documenting about 5 to 6 months ago, just what Trikafta would do for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I noticed a lot of my CF friends were posting their results and how they're doing. And I didn't want to say anything at first because I'm pretty private about things until I decide like if
Mm-hmm.
it's going to work for me. So I didn't want to share
Mm-hmm.
anything about Trikafta just in case this didn't work, because I was
Yep.
very skeptical in the beginning. And so I just started documenting, just like, okay, let's see what happens. And I just started noticing all these changes and just comparing to like how I was before to then how I am now with Trikafta. So I've been documenting for about 5 to 6 months and gonna be making a documentary type video. And it's
Which
gonna
is
go,
a ton of work.
yeah, oh my word, yeah.
Oof.
But it's also my passion because I want to create documentaries. So
Yeah,
might as well start now.
for sure.
Yeah. And it's gonna come out April 6th. And
April 6th is the day, and
yeah,
the trailer is out now. We can put a link to the
yeah,
trailer. And you know what I love about your channel in general is, and I told you this before, but it is like this really profound, deep thought about God. So you're very honest about when you're not feeling well and what that's doing. And then the next video will be, here's how I put on makeup in the morning. And I love that it's like, it's the full life. It's a holistic view of you. And
yeah.
that's, do you ever struggle with being that vulnerable?
Um, yeah.
Like, you're not
In the
faking it on this channel.
no,
There's
no.
no there, you can tell that this is the real deal.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, like I just like did so many videos about CF, like every single video. And
Mm,
then my friends would tell me, they're like, it's nice, but it's a little
mm,
overwhelming. And I'm like, okay, so
mm,
maybe I need to like alter this. So it's like,
mm.
this is who I am type thing, but like still incorporating CF and not just making like a whole ton of stuff. So I haven't like,
Yeah.
I kind of stopped talking about CF in like a lot of my videos, and like I'd mention it here and there. And then I thought, okay, when I do talk about CF, have it be like a big project video such as this.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, like I'm like, the thing is about like social media, like I'm still very private. Like people think they know everything about me from
Sure.
Instagram and YouTube, but like you're only seeing about 10% of me. So
Sure.
there's like a whole lot of other stuff
Yeah.
you're not seeing. But when making this Trikafta video, I wanted people to see those raw emotions. I wanted people to hear my coughs, because in a lot of my videos, I would edit out the coughs so people wouldn't
Okay.
hear it. So I'm like, this one has to be like a full vulnerable look. And I'm like, they have to hear the coughs. They have to see and hear the tears. They have to
Mm.
hear the frustration. They have to see the little perfection ticks I have with being a CF patient. I'm like, they have to see it all, because that's the only way that this is going to work. But it will give my friends and my family like a real look, because some of my friends don't really get it about like why I get so frustrated about like tiny little things. I'm like, yeah, but like I gotta be perfect about this. Like my doctor
Mm.
has to like this result. Like if my doctor
Mm.
doesn't like this, like the whole thing has gone downhill. So
Mm.
like this whole video is like really capturing the things that I really don't ever share. So
I'm looking forward to seeing it for a
yeah,
couple reasons. First of all, it's not just going to help people understand you. It's going to help. There are other people with CF that are going to say, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen my experience on a
yeah,
video before," and that's going to
yeah,
be really profound. And the other thing is, there is something about human pain and going through things that you can say, okay, CF isn't what I'm struggling with, but I still recognize struggle.
mm-hmm,
I still recognize like hope and disappointment, and like you say, and wanting to be perfect and wanting to be better, and trying to fit this all into faith and whatever. Yeah, I think it's a huge swing. I'm proud of you for taking it.
Thank you.
Let's finish. We just have like 4 or 5 minutes left. Let's talk about God.
Okay.
When did you meet him?
What?
When did you meet him?
I had been doing Awana when I was little, and it was sometime when I was a Sparky, and all my friends were accepting Christ to be their savior. And I was just like looking around, I'm like, oh, so there's more than just like memorizing Bible verses and getting Awana books. Like there's more to that.
Yeah.
So like I talked to my mom in the kitchen. I want to say I was like 6 or maybe 7, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just asked her about it and accepted Christ that day. And yeah. But
That's
like
pretty
the
cool.
thing is like I understood, because like sometimes when you're at a young age, like sometimes you don't fully understand like what accepting Christ into your life really means, but like I understood at that point. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I was 6 when I, accepted Christ too. And I think most of us who accept Jesus early have the same kind of story where you say, yeah, I understood like a 6-year-old. And as I grew, there was more understanding that had to be there. But Christ had my heart as a little kid and had my heart as a teenager and has my heart now as an adult. And that's pretty cool. So connect your like Jesus and your relationship with him now to kind of your whole life story over the last couple of years. Like how do you where does he matter in your life, and how do you spend time with him? How do you
I think really like the points that the times in my life that I really like learned to just like really trust him and lean into him, or like really some like highlight moments in my CF life. Like the summer before my senior year of high school, I was in the hospital for about a month, and I was diagnosed with CF liver disease, and I was put on the transplant list. And I mean, I'm off the transplant list now, but like it was just like this whole long thing of just like my whole life's like switching upside down. I'm like, why is this happening? And then at the same time, my CF mentor, she her health was failing, so she had to go get a double lung transplant. And just like the whole thing, that was just like I'd never experienced of like having a friend that sick. And just like having to go through that, going through a little bit of depression and trying to like figure out like why is this happening, and just like learning to trust God through that. And then like moments of like anger with him, it'd be like around last year and a little bit before that was when my CF mentor passed away. And like that was like probably like the most like it's one thing like when a family member passes away, but like when someone who shares the same disease as you passes away, it's like this whole other thing. And it was pretty like heart shattering, and I had to learn to just trust God through that process. And as I look back now, even though it was hard, like he was there, he was faithful through that whole time, and he was also preparing me so that like not only can I be stronger from that, but also be able to mentor other people with CF, because this is a really challenging disease. And I knew when starting my CF YouTube channel, I knew that I was signing up to basically be a CF mentor. Like I knew I was going to be doing that. And God was just preparing me for like, you're going to be going through difficult things, but I need you to trust me with it. And it's going to be hard and it's going to shatter your heart, but you need to trust me with it, because there's going to be some beautiful opportunities coming from that.
It is the truth that like that intimacy and like solid relationship with God, it doesn't only happen in like sweet and easy times, it a lot of times it is like fortified by hard times. Well, that's an incredible story. And you've talked too before about how important mentors have been, like not just CF mentors, but just like godly women.
I've had a lot of Christian role models in my life, mentors, and they've definitely like helped me through a lot of times, and obviously my family, but they've
Yeah.
been able to give me like beautiful wisdom to be able to continue on. And I'm part of this college Bible study, and just the girls in that group are just, they're so honest and vulnerable, but they speak so much truth, which is just like,
Yeah.
you need that.
Yeah.
And it's good when you have that community, you have those people who can keep you accountable with your faith, but also bring you up in prayer and encouragement from the word. So
Amen. Amen, man. Well, you're a huge encouragement to me, Ashely. You're one of my favorite friends. Thanks for talking with me today.
of
Everybody
course.
at Lighthouse, give Ashely a virtual high five. Yeah, and and we'll see you at church whenever that is, and we'll see you
Yeah.
on YouTube between here and there. So Ashely, so what's the name of the project?
It's called the Miracle Drug Trikafta.
Okay, so the Miracle Drug Trikafta, it's on Ashely's Roses. We'll put a link in the description below. And thanks, man. Have a great day.
Of course, you too.
All right, Lighthouse family, have a good one.